Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Kelvin Johnson. In this video, I'll be discussing about how to connect to devices or to computers remotely. So I'll be showing you the different method on which you can connect to a different computer than the one you are using. So let's say you work as an IT help desk administrator or as an IT administrator and you want to remotely connect to another device. So the first option which you always have is actually to use, for example, you can use TeamViewer to connect to another device. You can as well use Microsoft Teams. You can use your Skype for Business as well to connect to another device. You can use unsolicited remote assistance, and you can use the inbuilt remote assistance from your configuration manager. So first of all, if I want to connect to a device and I want to install an application as an administrator, and that device could be a device which someone has logged onto, or a device which is somewhere and you want to manage that device. So what I actually normally do is I'll go to my start menu and I'll look for remote desktop. So we have the remote desktop connection. So if I click remote desktop connection here, and we have different options here. So right now, to be able to connect to a different device, first of all, you make sure that there's a remote desktop connection actually enabled on that computer. If remote connection is not enabled on that computer, you will not be able to connect to that computer. So I want to connect to this device here, which is the C01. And if I go to let me just go to my settings. Let me go to control. So in my C01, which I'm trying to connect to, I will have to check. First of all, let me go to System. So in System, I will need to go to Advanced System Settings here. So in advanced system settings, I will need to check on remote. So here you can see that the remote which says allow remote connection to this computer is on. But mind you, this is being managed by group policy or by my system center configuration manager, which is SCCM. So they have already configured my remote connection to actually allow remote assistance and then allow remote connection to this computer. So if this is disabled, normally if you install a Windows 10, this is disabled by default. So if this is disabled, you will not be able to connect to that remote device. You will receive an error message that the device is not available. So I'm just going to click cancel, go back to my server, and then try to connect to this device. And here you can see that I'm not putting the domain name behind, but I can as well put in the domain name and try to connect to the device. Here you can see it's trying to connect to that device. So right now we can tell that the device is actually available because I'm not receiving any error message. So I'm going to enter the password for my domain name, which I'll be using to connect to that device, and then click OK. So here we have more options as well. So we can decide to use a different account if you wish, but I'm going to use my default account and then try to connect to that device. So let me show you what is going on that device. You can see that on that device, if a user is logged onto that device, the user will be disconnected. One, and two, make sure that if someone is working with that device, make sure that you tell the person that you're trying to connect to that computer. So right now you can see that I'm connected to the C01 computer, and here is the C01. You can see that the user is now logged off on his device. So please mind you, before you connect to a device which you think or you believe that someone is working on that computer, always try to make sure that that you inform the user that you are trying to connect to his device before you take over his connection, because it has happened to me once when I was trying to connect to a user's computer. So I typed in the wrong host name address. Automatically I was connected to a different user's device, and the user was so surprised at seeing me connected to his device. So he called the IT help desk to say what is going on, and I told him that I was the one that connected. So I apologized to the person and said, I'm sorry that I connected to your device, but that was not the device I'm supposed to connect to. So that's the first method you actually use to connect to a device. So what I'm going to do is I can just let me just cancel this, and it says your remote session will be disconnected. So just click OK, and right now I'll be disconnected from the C01, and I'm back again to my server. Here you can see. So the second option we have to connect to a remote device is we can as well use TeamViewer. So I've started TeamViewer on my device, and I want to connect to the C01 with TeamViewer. So here, if I open TeamViewer, you see I have the option, I have my ID and I have my password. But mind you, I can always change this password. I can create a new random password. So using this password doesn't mean anything. I can always change it, and this device will have a password. But if I want to connect to this device here, and someone is having a problem, and the user called me that he needs assistance, that I should help him to solve his problem. And what I can do, my second option to connect to that device is TeamViewer. So what I need from this user, first of all, I will need the user's ID and his password. So first of all, the user is going to provide me his ID, and again the user will also give me his password. So I'm going to create a new password for this. So let me just try and copy this ID, and I'm going to paste it here, which it says your partner ID. So you're going to enter your partner ID here in this partner ID, not your own ID. And then we're going to do a remote control, but you can as well choose the option to do a file transfer. So we're going to do a remote control, and we're going to do connect. So right now we are trying to connect to that user's device. So it says it's trying to connect, authenticate. Then we need to provide a password to connect to the user's device. So, but I have a different option as well. I can decide it if this is a domain join device. I don't need this user's password to connect to that device. I'll only just enter the Windows authentication here. Then I'll enter my domain name and password. But I have a problem, you can already see. Right now I don't have the option to click on the domain user's name, or to enter my domain name, so that I don't use the default password that the user is going to provide for me. Because when I use my domain name, which means I'll be able to perform admin activities on that device. So what I can do is, the reason why I'm not able to connect to that device with my domain name is this. So if I go to the user's um, device, you can as well ask the user to perform the following. Go to extras. Here in options, when I go to options, so in your team viewer options, we have the general and we have the security. So here in security, you can see that the problem is this. Say rules for connection to this computer. It says Windows logon not allowed. So right now I'm trying to connect with my Windows credentials, so that is not being allowed. But if I says allowed for the administrator only, or we can say allow for all users. But mind you, I will not if I'm you, I will not click the allow for all users, which means everyone will be able to connect to your device as an administrator and just perform things, or connect with Windows logon. So I'm just going to do allow for administrator only, and here you can see why TeamViewer is actually using the 8 character password, because here the password strength is 8. So I can change it to 4 to 6 characters as well, and then I'll click OK. You can see automatically it changes to 6 character. So right now, if I go again here, and let me just cancel this and then try to connect to the device again, to try to reestablish a connection to that device, and I go to my advanced, and here if I select Windows, you can see right now we now have the option to actually connect to that device. So first of all, what you need to do is to provide your domain name. Oh, sorry, connect again. Yep. So you need to provide your domain name, backslash, and I'm going to use my admin account, and then enter my password, and then log on. So it's trying to authenticate to that device, trying to connect to the device, and here you can see that right now I'm taking control. It's still connecting to the device actually. So here you can see that right now I have control of that device. So if I go to my C01, you can see that the screen has turned black as well, and it says that the this device is being connected to this computer right now. So it gives you actually an idea who is connecting to this device, so you know that this person is connecting to this device. You can also close this connection from your own device if you wish. But from here, I can decide to just do everything, and let me just go to the start. You can go to the start menu. So when I click the start menu, and everything you do here actually from this device, the user is going to see it here. You can see that I click the start menu, and of course the user is going to see everything you are doing. It's only if you connect with your using the remote desktop connection, the user will not be able to see what you are doing. So only you will see, because the user will be disconnected. So here the user is going to see everything I'm doing. And when you are done with the user, what you can just do, you can as well just click close team viewer, and let me just close that, and the session also with the on the user's device will be closed as well. So that's the second option we have to connect to a remote device. So the third option is this. So right now, I work in an environment whereby we use the configuration manager to manage a device. So if you use configuration manager to manage a device, so what we can actually do is, first of all, I will need to go to my assets and compliance, and here under devices, we will see all the device which are listed in my environment. So here we have the C01, which is this device. So I will need to actually just right click on that device. So if I right click, just right click on this device, and here we have the click on the start, and here we have the remote control. Mind you, if you're working in enterprise environment or a domain environment, you would have installed the configuration manager application on your Windows 10 device. Well, I'm doing this from a server because this is just a test environment. So click remote control, and you also have the option to actually do a remote assistance, but mind you, you will need to install the remote assistant tools on this device. And here you can see we have the remote desktop client, which I've done before. But click on the remote control, and when you see the remote control is trying to actually contact the device and see if the device is online. So right now, the user will need to actually confirm. Here you can see that it's saying that Kelvin Johnson is requesting permission to begin a remote control session. So you need to approve or deny. You can as well deny that user from accessing this device, or you can approve it. So when I say approve, and you can see right now it's trying to connect, it's still trying to connect to the device, and now I have full access to that device. So if I go to the C01, you can see that it says connected with Kelvin Johnson, and now Kelvin Johnson has remote access to that computer. So every action I perform on that device, the user is going to see it on his own device here. So let me just scroll down, and here you can see if I go to if I decide to start Office, or I start Microsoft Edge, or I just cancel this, and let me just close this. So the user will as well see everything I'm doing. So that's the third option, which is the remote control you use to connect to a user's device. So other option we have to connect to a remote device, which is the remote assistant. So let's say you don't have the option to use the remote desktop connection, or to use TeamViewer or remote control from your configuration manager. We can as well use your remote assistance, which is actually inbuilt in Windows 10, to offer a help to someone, or request a help from someone to assist us. So what I can actually do is actually very simple. So what on your Windows 10 device, so I'm doing this for my Windows 10 device, because on my Windows 7 I've already disabled the remote assistance on my Windows server. So if I go to my start menu on my Windows 10 device, so in my start menu, then I would just type invite. So when you type invite, you have the option to invite someone to connect to your PC and help you, or offer to help someone. So click on that. So here you see it gives me two options. So the first option is invite someone you trust to help you, or help someone who has invited you. So I want to invite someone I trust to help me because I'm having a problem, or probably it's someone from the IT help desk, or is a friend you want to actually invite to assist you. So what I need to do is to just click invite someone I trust to help me. So here we have the option to actually save this invitation as a file. So, but we also have the other option to use email to send an invitation. But for me, this option has been disabled because my remote assistance is being configured and managed through group policy, because this is a domain environment. So what I can do is I'm going to save this invitation file so I can send it to someone to help me. So I'm on my C drive. I've already created a C on my C drive. I already created a share file which is accessible from all domain joined device. So everyone has access to this share drive. But if you're working in domain environment, you can as well create a share drive and grant access to that user who wants to invite you. I'm just going to give this to, let me just call this Lotte, and just save this to that location. So after saving this to the location, if I go to my, let me go to my folder here and go to my share folder. And here you can see we have a map or a file called Lotte. And this is actually for a Windows remote assistance, as you can see. So what I need to do now, I will need to also send this password to Lotte to be able to assist me. I can as well create a different folder here, or just create a test document and call it be a day. And mind you, you should make sure that only she have access to this folder or password. You can also send this password by mail, or you can just, if you have the user on the telephone, you can tell the user the password. So now I'm going to go to my other device, which is the C03. So I'm going to start on that device. I'm going to start File Explorer on that device, and I'm going to connect to that share folder. So let me connect to the C01 folder, and here you can see we have one share file. So here I'm going to you see we have the two file that is being shared from the C01. So if I double click on this, the Windows Remote Assistance file that was sent by Lotte, sent to me, and here you can see that I should enter my password. So, and that is my password provided to me by the person I'm going to help, and then you click OK. But mind you, when you click OK, it's going to request the user. Say, would you like to allow Nora Lisa to connect to your computer? I'm going to say yes. So I'm connecting to that device right now from the C03. You can see. And if I go back to C01, let me just open this let me just see. So I go to start menu. Now I can actually, anything I do on this device, the person who's assisting me can see everything. So he or she will not be able to take control of my computer, because if he tries to take control, try to click anything on that device, he will not be able to do it. But the only thing he can see is that I am in control. If I open my password here, if I open this file, if I go to C03, you can see the file is being opened. But if Nora wants to actually take control of my device, here we have the option to request control. So she's going to request to control my device, and I'm going to receive a pop-up message which says, do you want to allow Nora? Say allow Nora, and then just say yes. So if you say yes, Nora will have control of your device. So if I go to the start menu right now, I should be able to click the start menu, or I should be able to type. For example, I should be able to type on this device here on this notepad, and if she opens that, you can see what I'm typing is reflecting on the C01. So let me just, then if you want to cancel you can as well just stop sharing, or from your own device you can decide to say stop sharing with Nora, And let me just close this, save it. And then when you say stop sharing, and then the invitation will close and Nora will see. And we can as well just decided to close the remote assistance connection as well. So right now the connection has been closed and the connection will be closed here as well. So that's how you connect using remote assistance. Mind you, there are other options in which you can use to connect to this to someone's device. Just the way, what I told you before, we can use the Microsoft Teams. So with Teams, you can actually connect to someone's device and request that person also to grant you access to that device. The same thing with Skype for Business. But you also have other third management tool which you can use to connect to someone's device and take over that, take control of that device. Like for example, we have the VNC, which will actually take control of our device and manage that device. My name is Kelvin Johnson. These are the different options which you can use to manage device or manage someone's device or give assistance to someone if you work in a domain environment or you work for a company. And also if you're working from home, for example, you can use the remote desktop connection, you can use TeamViewer, you can use the remote assistance. Probably you may not be able to use the the SCCM remote control to assist someone, but you can use the remote assistance remote desktop connection if you are working from home with the same just in the same home environment. But if you want to assist someone who lives very far away from you, it doesn't mean which country in the world. We can use like the remote assistance, and also we can use Team Viewer. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more IT related video, and also take your time, watch this video, and I believe this video will be of great help to you, and give me some thumb up for taking my time to create this video as well. And you can send me a personal email or leave a comment below and I will reply to you as quick as possible. Thank you once more and see you next time. Bye.